stop pretending and become absolutely authentic. Let's go through it. Yeah, that's basically what I'm gonna talk about right now. To stop pretending and start becoming more authentic. Because, boy, we need it. So, yeah, what do we really need to stop pretending about? Like, why do we need to stop pretending? Well, it's a very interesting concept. It's a very interesting topic. What I'm going to say and what I'm going to talk about, because we all do it. Like we all pretend always about anything. Let me give you an example. I'm currently in last year of high school, and I'm currently in last year of high school, and I have a group of people that I hang out with, and at the end of the day, I'm pretending to be someone that I'm not, right? Like obviously, you need to do it in a very intelligent way, because let's say you are going to get a benefit from like something or from certain people or whatever. Like obviously, you're always gonna act differently with different people, but I think you can still act differently because they are different people, but still being authentic. So basically, what I'm saying with stop pretending and start being authentic is literally just start to give less of a fuck of what everyone thinks. Like start to care less about what everyone thinks, and that's very difficult, especially at my age. Right now, I'm 17 years old, and it's very difficult because we haven't experienced life enough. That's basically the reason. Like, if you really think about it, all these very experienced human beings that are like 80 years old, 70 years old, 60 years old, or sometimes even 50 years old, they have lived 50, 60, 70, 80 years. They have 50, 60, 70, 80 years of experience. And thanks to that experience, most of them don't no longer give a fuck about what anyone thinks about them, right? Like, I think, we all can agree on that. Therefore, we all can agree that they just have a lot of experience. Now, that doesn't mean that you, as a 17-year-old, in my case, or I don't know, 20, 30-year-old, or even like 15-year-old, 12-year-old, like, that doesn't mean that you cannot actually act that way, right? Obviously, it's gonna affect you way more. Now that I think about it, it's very strange because for you to actually start to be authentic and start to care much less about what anyone thinks about you need to be pretending. Like, I just thought about it. Like, I just contradicted myself so much. Like, yeah, I need to really say this. Like, at the beginning, obviously, if you're young, I don't know, from 12 to 40 years old, like 30 years old, or whatever you consider young. Obviously, on I think until 40, 50, you're not that young, but I'm just gonna say like 30, 20, from 12 years old to like 30 years old. If you're young, if you're in that stage where you haven't really experienced life enough in order to naturally care less about stuff, you still can't care less about stuff. But at the beginning, you need to start pretending about it. Like, you need to start pretending like you're not caring about, or like, you need to start pretending that you care less about stuff. I just contradicted myself because literally at the beginning I said stop pretending, but yeah, sometimes you need to really pretend. Like at the beginning, for example, of start to care less about stuff. You start pretending. Like in my example, right now I care much less about a lot of things, way more than when I was like 12 years old. For example, when I was 12 years old, if somebody insulted me, that really hit me, right? And I sometimes even got mad and just respond to them back. And now I'm like, I don't give a fuck, like literally. At the like I there was a time I think when I was 15 or 16 years old when I realized, man, why spend this amount of like once why spend energy on that? Why? And this is a concept that Naval Ravikant, which is a great entrepreneur, just has perfectly talked about in a podcast with Chris Williamson from Modern Wisdom podcast. He just talks says it perfectly. Um, Basically, what he says is just, man, like first think about something that you really want to achieve, like something that you really want to like do in life. You know, what do you want to do in life? What value you want to provide to humanity or whatever. You know, he didn't say it that way, but basically, you know, what like have a why, and then if like probably most things that seem like problems aren't is like, okay, is this actually a problem that is correlated with this thing that I want to achieve or this why? If not, well, then just why spend energy on that? Now, I didn't learn this from Naval Ravikant when I was like 15, 16 years old. I don't know, I think it was through like other stuff that I saw on social media, but I just started to, man, to really have that uh, mindset. And it just makes sense, right? And obviously at the beginning I was pretending like I didn't care. Like for example, if they insulted me, or I don't know, I was caught in traffic, you know, or I needed to do something that I just didn't want to do, or you know, those little stuff that happens in life that for like average dudes, for average people, feels frustrating, and they actually like get emotional about it. In that case, even if I actually got emotional, I at least I didn't show it as I showed it before, right? And then eventually, you know, obviously at the beginning it's very difficult because you're like, man, this is very frustrating, or man, I really care about this, even if I know I shouldn't, and I just need to pretend to not care. Like that's very difficult, but you know, it's not like impossible. It's not rocket science, okay? It's like just stop pretending, you know. And in that case, you know, man, I didn't count the months for it. I think it was probably months when I started to have like these little events where I normally got math or you know got emotional, and then I just, even if I actually was getting emotional here, I didn't share it. I didn't transmit it, right? I didn't actually put that much of an energy into releasing that emotion. And obviously, the first months, I don't know, maybe it was even a year, or it still happens sometimes, right? It's difficult. Like you pretend, right? And obviously, the more you practice this, like I think this is a skill, like any skill. The more you practice, or the more the more you practice that, like that thing I just said of man, don't caring about stuff that is not aligned with your why. You're gonna get better at it. And obviously, after months pass, I think even a year, I started to really generally care less about a lot of stuff. And for example, someone insulted me. I like, it's not a binary thing. It's not that I either got angry or not. It's how angry do you get. So like before changing that mindset, I will be like at this level of, you know, getting angry, and then after starting to like practice this skill, essentially of starting to care less about it, and at the end of the day, at the beginning, it was pretending. After some months, or I think it was even a year, same situation where I needed to get mad, or I usually got mad because they insulted me. My levels of like being emotional about it actually decreased, right? You know, still got emotional about it. I'm not a robot. Not everyone's a robot. I mean, no human is a robot, so you're still gonna get emotional about it. Like, don't expect to not get to. Like, you are not a robot. You're a human being, and that's just normal human being stuff. Like, you get emotional about it, but the important thing right there is that you decrease that level of emotion. You're still gonna have it, and obviously don't share it. Don't actually spend more energy on that emotion, right? So, obviously before, let's say there's some people that just got emotional about something, and before they started to punch like whatever, right? Or just throw this thing and just be like, you know, you're still like doing all of that. You're spending a lot of, not a lot of energy, um, actually, but you're spending more energy than you should, I think. And then if you actually start to like adopt this stuff that I'm talking about, you basically prevent spending all that energy while you were like raging and whatever. But yeah, I'm extending a lot in that part. But yeah, basically like just 1 hour. Yeah, 8:45. Yeah, basically just stop caring, stop giving a fuck, about a lot of stuff that is not aligned with your why. Obviously, if you are like working towards your why, there's some problems. Like yeah, you obviously are gonna get emotional about it. It's gonna be even a much more higher emotion because it's your why. It's not some random dude that caught of you in the traffic, right? There's a very different distinction between you being in the traffic and then some dumbass just like trusts you and it's not very good at driving and you're like motherfucker, like there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people that literally just because of that fucking bullshit event from some dumbass that doesn't know how to drive and they don't even know him, they just rage their fuck out of it. And that's crazy. There's people that just rage a lot. They literally get out of the car, punch the fucking window of the car, like why? Like the thing that I'm essentially saying is like, why spend that amount of energy? Like, why? What's the fucking return? Like, what's the ROI of that? There's nothing. You just look like a dumbass. You just look like a monkey. Like you just look like a not intelligent human being. Like it's crazy. But yeah, that's basically what I'm saying, right? Stop caring less about it, and that's one way to basically be more authentic, right? And I think I really contradicted me incredibly well at the beginning, because at the beginning I said stop pretending, and now I literally said, oh well, at the beginning you're gonna need to pretend, but I think hopefully you get it. Hopefully if you're watching this you get it. But yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. One very incredible thing is just to stop giving a fuck about a lot of stuff. Like just think about stuff that you give a fuck right now, and then think about your why. Obviously, if you don't have your why, you need to obviously work towards that. But for example, I don't have a very clear why, but I still have some why, and there's a lot of stuff that I cut, like I just completely cut off because he wasn't really worth it, right? For example, raging about traffic stuff that happens, like whenever you're driving, and obviously there's people that are not that very good at driving, or there's just people that want to, there's just those kind of people that, for a normal human, like an average human being that hasn't, you know, put the time into thinking about what I'm talking about, they're just like fucking angry and they're fucking pointing fingers at him and they're just insulting him, and sometimes they even fucking get incredibly violent and they just get out of the car and start punching the window. It's crazy. And I was like, man, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I mean, sometimes like it has happened to me a lot. Like sometimes I'm the one that is making the mistakes, and then someone just tells me like whatever insult, like whatever bullshit insult they throw at you, like dumbass or fuck you or whatever, and they just sort of like fuck you, whatever, and he's like, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm like, oh, thank you. No, no, but seriously, like I'm just, oh, and then we just keep driving. I don't think about it. Like obviously at the beginning, I was thinking about it. Like, oh my god, he just said "fuck you" to me, you know. But then once you actually start to like, as I said, start to practice this stuff, you just forget about it in like 5 seconds, and that's what you should do. Like, there's some people. Well, this is this crazy story. I'm gonna talk about it, but yeah, basically, I just want to get the point nailed down, and absolutely just make it clear. You just need to stop caring about a lot of things like that are not aligned with your why or the things that you want to do or the things you like to do, right? A very good one, I think, is for most people is just stuff that happens on when you're driving, like stuff happens, right? Or another one is just traffic. Okay, I mean, yeah, if you're literally trapped in the traffic, well, try to do something else. Just don't fucking rage about it, right? Like, obviously, it's easier said than done. Everything is easier said than done, but you can still do it. So let's fucking do it, right? Um, and yeah, I'm gonna. I hope this point was very clear. And basically, the authenticity part, because at the beginning of the video, I said to become more authentic. The authenticity part here is that you literally start because you are basically not giving a fuck about a lot of things. You start to just be yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is correlative. Because when you stop to give a fuck about a lot of things, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna do this. And even and before, you will be like, oh no, what are people gonna think? Or, you know, like, you know. And yeah, whenever you stop, just cut off that, and you just realize, man, like everyone's gonna die, or you're gonna forget about it in like 5 minutes. You just start to being yourself, and that's, man, that's fucking important, and it's gonna be one of the most important things you can do in your lifetime in the next couple of decades. Being authentic, that's the real thing. For example, when creating content, if you want to be like a content creator, I don't know, YouTuber, whatever, being authentic is key. Like authenticity. It's just like, for example, why, for example, let me give the example of Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, the people why they listen to him, he knows he is not trying to be one kind of. He's just Joe Rogan. He's just authentic. In his show, he talks about aliens. He talks about politics. He talks about technology. He talks with interesting people. Like, that's Joe Rogan. Like, that's just Joe Rogan, and that's his authenticity, right? Like, I think trying to be someone else that you aren't, I think it's just a waste of energy. Now, there's a very different distinction between like getting influenced by someone and actually being like, oh, I like this thing from this guy, and apply it to your life and whatever, apply it to your personality, apply it to your stuff. But like actually trying to be like someone that you're like, man, I want to be like this guy. No, no, I want to like act like this guy. I want to, it's just a waste of energy. Like, what I'm trying to say basically is not, don't try to be someone else, just try to be yourself. I know that's very like, oh, very repetitive. Everyone knows it, right? Oh, try to be yourself. But it's just true, man. Like, you need to try to be yourself. And I think a really great way to start being yourself is just don't give a fuck about a lot of things. And probably most of the things that you give a fuck about right now, they're not worth it. Like, just go to this thought like exercise and be like, okay, literally just list down on put on the list what are the things you care about currently, and you like start to question this stuff and be like, man, do I really need this shit? Like, do I really need to spend my energy on this shit? No, like, that's when I realized. For example, I'm gonna give one. I already said one, which was like raging at when I was driving, which I still didn't rate that much, but you know. Then another one is like obviously traffic. Another one is like people just insult you for whatever reason. And what else? Another one is like, for example, sports. Like before, I was just like, man, let's watch every single sport from Champions League. And now I really don't give a fuck that much. Like sometimes I'm gonna watch some games or whatever, but that's just not for me, right? There's obviously people, and I'm not saying this is for. I mean, at the end of the day, literally what I'm saying is what's for me, right? If you are like the most the absolute biggest Champions League fan, then go for it, right? Like you could even that could even be your why. Like you could do something around the Champions League on your life, and that can be your purpose, and that's fucking incredible. Like at the end of the day, we need players, we need people on these like TV, or we need people on the media that covers the Champions League. We need people that manage this business. Like we need people that also run are part of the entertainment, like the football players. Like we need those people, right? So if you're one of those, or you're interested in one of those things, like go for it, right? Like we need that. Like there's some value to that. There's some value to that. Um, but that's just not my thing, right? Obviously. So I just that just depends, right? So yeah, that's one thing. Just stop caring about what people think about you. Like stop caring about stuff. Just try to question everything that you're like, oh, I care about this, I care about that, I care about that, and just question it like hell, basically. And you're gonna find very interesting conclusions. Now, let me go to the story to basically say what I was saying about like that there's people that literally spend so much energy on just bullshit. It's crazy. This is a story from a cousin who lives in a very big city, and he was in the traffic, and basically what he did was just I don't exactly remember, but I think he's just surpassed, I think not in the best way possible, some other car, and then that car literally just started to follow him. And since my cousin like drives, let's say drives faster than the average driver, I have gone through with him in the car, and I mean he's very skilled at it. Like he hasn't crashed. He's able to drive fast as hell, like shoo, 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 like just go through traffic like fucking fast and furious, and don't crash. It's just an incredible skill. So yeah, he drives like you know much faster, much more different than the average driver. And this guy that basically got the rage or whatever, because when my cousin was driving, in front of him, this guy was like pointing fingers and you know like putting the klaxon, and then just doing signs for him, like whatever, and even screaming, whatever. He started to follow him like crazy. Like, let's just picture this: there's all this traffic, and then my cousin is like just going through the traffic, and then this guy also goes through the traffic, so he's literally started to chase him. And that's like, at that point when he talked about this to me, I was like, man, this guy's just so fucking dumb. Like, that's what I'm saying, man. People really spend. There's a lot of people that spend incredible amounts of their energy and their time and their attention to just pointless things. Please don't be that. Don't be that guy or girl or whatever. Don't be that. Like, just don't do it. I don't recommend it. So yeah, I just started to chase him like crazy, and it was crazy. Like 20 minutes, for like 20 minutes straight. 20 minutes straight. That's crazy. So for 20 minutes, he was literally just chasing him for the full 20 minutes. That's fucking crazy. And yeah, basically he just started to go 20 minutes, 20 minutes. And the same thing, like my cousin was even saying like, man, I'm just gonna go full speed, like because I need to get this guy out of me. Like, if he has been following for 20 minutes, what is he gonna do? Like, whenever we go to a traffic light, like he's probably gonna get out from the car and put a gun. Or there's some pretty crazy people out there, so that's very likely, right? Whenever someone is following you for 20 minutes for just a very simple, like, a mistake that you made, like, you don't know what's gonna happen to you. That's crazy, you know. And here comes the craziest part. Like, after 20 or 30 minutes of just literally this guy persecuting my cousin, my cousin was like, man, enough. I'm just gonna go to an intersection where I can just, as fast as possible, get through a very narrow street for this guy to just to lose this guy, right? And then he did exactly that, and the fucking guy literally start to reverse, like he noticed, start to reverse, and then went to that fucking narrow street. Like, what the hell? Man, I will be scared as hell. Like, imagine this guy's following you for 30 minutes after just a small mistake you made. What's gonna happen? Like, are you gonna get shot or what? Like, there's some crazy people out there. And that's when I was like, man, this guy's crazy. And yeah, he just started following him. And then I don't know what he did. I think he did a pretty good, smart move to just lose him. Like, but at least he lost him because we don't know what will have happened to my cousin. You know, there's some another fucking crazy story, man. That guy has really had some crazy experiences with these guys that are just spending pointless amount of energy. Yeah, basically the point that I want to make is just, for example, look at that guy. Just that guy that was pursuing my cousin just because my cousin did a slight mistake on traffic. That's literally what I'm saying. Like, there's people that spend so much energy, attention, and time on this stuff, and probably, I mean, I don't think so. It's not very likely. If you really think about it, it's not very likely that this guy that was pursuing my cousin, in his, like, his the why of his existing on this earth, or the why that he proposed himself to achieve was, oh, I'm gonna pursue people that make mistakes on the streets. Yeah, like, I don't think that's the thing. Maybe, there's some probability, but I think it's very low. Let's just say there's none, okay? But there's still probability, right? Um. So yeah, basically that's just my point. Like, there's just people that spend a lot of energy. Obviously, that I think that's an extreme scenario because you know what I mean. But I think there's still a lot of things that we all spend energy on things that aren't really that important or aren't really that aligned with what our why. And what I'm saying is just um spending energy on that. It's basically that. Yeah, basically. For some people, is driving while they're driving. Some other people is when they insult them. Other people is when they criticize them, right? And yeah, for example, 3 days ago in my school, I think it's very normalized. Sometimes they just criticize me as hell. I think most of it is just a joke, but sometimes I think it's real. And then you got this guy just doing this to me, and it's like, bro, that was crazy, because I didn't even got emotional about it. Like, my emotional levels when he did that to me were none. Like, what the fuck? Now that I think about it, that's crazy. We're none. I think that's just a great example. Like, after all these practice essentially that I have gone through, I just stop caring about people insulting me and whatever, and being like, man, why do I spend energy on that? I just fucking go no emotion about it. Yeah, that's crazy, and that's basically what I'm saying. Imagine if I have gone through the amount of energy that this guy that was pursuing my cousin went through with this guy that put the finger to me. Like, oh, you crazy? It will be very dumb and a waste of energy. So yeah, use your energy, use your attention wisely. Like, attention is the ultimate currency, and please just preserve it. Right? Attention is very important. It's literally how the world is run today. With social media, everyone wants your attention. At the end of the day, I want your attention right now. So that's basically what I'm saying. Hope the attention that I got from you is helpful for you. And yeah, use your attention wisely. That's what I can say. And don't be that guy who was pursuing my cousin for 40 minutes just for a slight mistake that he made. Yeah, it's pretty wild, but yeah, that's what I wanted to say.